3012 by 0814. Repeat, 3012-0814. Also, to remind everyone that as soon as you are finished with your flight this morning, if you would please go ahead and take care of transferring those tracks and those flight report forms as soon as possible, so the scoring team can get these scores tabulated. You are asked to sign one of your basket banners as a thank you to your sponsors and bring those to the prize giving. If you are not staying for the prize giving, if you would just turn those in when you turn in any unused markers, or in the case of Great Texas Balloon Race, turn in your loggers here at the command center after the flight this morning. If you rented a Balloon Life sensor from the BFA, Ken Drawn is asking you to turn them in at the prize giving. If you are not staying for that, if you would just turn them in here at my office, which is just down the hall. We'll take those for you. Please be reminded that the prize giving is scheduled for 10:30 this morning, or as soon as we can get the scores tabulated. And that's all the notes I have for this morning. So Brad with the weather.
All right, good morning everybody, happy Father's Day. So what we've got going on is an area of high pressure across the eastern seaboard. You get the return flow on the back side of that. So we started to see some southerly winds across eastern Texas, and given that that's the case, we're looking at a much more humid air mass across the region. The latest observation at the top of the hour was 75 degrees, dew point 71, relative humidity 89%. Barometric pressure is falling at 29.88 inches of mercury, and the QNH is 1,011. So on the satellite, you can see that we are generally dealing with clear skies across the area. Our two favorite sites, Mount Pleasant, about 40 miles to our northwest, has started to fog in and is showing 5 miles visibility right now. And Carthage to our south, 30 miles to our southeast, is showing 1.25 miles in terms of visibility. I don't expect visibility to be an issue this morning, but just want to make you aware that that's the case. Here's the plot of what we've seen across the region this morning, and we have been very consistent in holding a 190 at the airport the last 3+ hours. 190, 4 to 5 knots, and that's been very, very consistent. I just dialed in here right before we started the briefing, and on the minute ob, it was reporting a 140 at 4 knots. So I'm hoping that, I'm cautiously optimistic that that will give you a greater left in the near surface layer. But in general, otherwise expecting a loft, not a great turn by any means unless we can hold on to that 140. And you would have something closer to a 200 to 210. That 210 that we're seeing, we started off when we were launching high balls at 3:30 this morning. We started off with about the greatest right around 500 to 1,000 feet at around 215 or so. Then it dropped, it's continued to drop to right around 210. Here's where it's at currently. And you can see that with time, it's forecast by 8 o'clock or so to get to around 205. So given that that's the case, just realize that your greatest right in that 500 to 1,000 foot layer is expected to become less extreme with times, and then also above that, especially once you get above 2,000 feet or so, you do have a loft. Also with speed-wise, you do have 10 to 15 knots or so above the surface, and that will moderate with time, so I don't expect winds to increase substantially by any means. Notice in the TAF that for Longview, they do have a broken 9,000 ceiling. The atmosphere is expected to dry with time over the flight window, so we don't have any clouds out there now like I showed on satellite. And with it drying with time, I don't expect clouds to become an issue at all, so you should have to be clear of clouds through the flight window and through the flying space. That is all I have for weather. Any questions at all? All right, good luck.
Thank you, Brad. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final flight of the National Championship this morning. This is Flight 6. Task numbers 24, 25, 26, and 27. The launch area is an individual launch. Sunrise is at 6:11, and that's also the time in which that the launch window will open. The minimum ILP is 1K. All PZs are in force. Next briefing will be in 2025. Solo flight is not required. The QNH is 1,011. Task number 24 is a minimum distance double drop under Rule 15.15. This task is to be flown in order. The goal coordinates are your pre-approved list is 3495, which is the 4x4 of 3439 by 9599. The description of the scoring area is on your task sheet. So when we say see sketch, that's what we're referring to. You can see that you have 4 quadrants there. And the description is 1 marker in each A or 1 marker in each B. Radius is 50 meters. Perimeter will not be marked. Paper is out. There will not be a typical X at this location. It will just be the approximate 18-inch wide paper. The scoring method is limited. We're going to score that until 7:30. Marker is a double white. It's a free marker drop. There's no logger mark associated. Task number 25 is a pilot declared goal under Rule 15.1. Also to be flown in order. Method of declaration. Logger goal number 1 before takeoff. Number of goals permitted, 1. Goal coordinates for declaration, any 4x4 coordinate between northern grid line 9700 and 0100 with altitude, minimum goal altitude 900. Pay attention to that sentence there in C, please. D, minimum or maximum distance of goal from CLP or ILP is not applicable. Minimum distance of goal from any subsequent goals is 1K. Hold on just a second. No max on E. Minimum is 1K, maximum is none. There is no MMA. There is no marker color. There is a marker drop number 1. It's a 3D scoring that will end at 7:45. Scoring area is the entire contest area. Task number 26 is hesitation waltz under Rule 15.3. This is also to be flown in order. The 2 separate target locations are, the first one is near 3601, near 3601, and that is 3609 by 0104. That's a new residential area. The next one is near 3600, and that is 3695 by 0090, and that is St. Mary's School Playground. Both of those are going to have an MMA of 50 meters or confines of the field. It's a free light blue marker drop. Logger mark number 2, 2D, 3D scoring. Scoring period ends at 0800. Scoring area is the entire contest area. The last task is another hesitation waltz under Rule 15.3 in order. The 2 goals, the 2 targets selected is 3605, which is 3683 by 0516. I want to make a note, make you aware that there are both power lines on approach and exit. Then the next target is 3602, and that is 3672 by 0262, and that is a church field. Both of those also have an MMA of 50 meters. It's a free red marker drop. Logger mark number 3. That will close at 0815. We'll score the entire contest area. Young Guns will be flying the same task with the exception of the pilot declared goal. Interference is not ground for protest. Reminder of shortened time limits, and please submit tracks and flight reforms ASAP. I'm going to go back to task number 5 and we're going to change this on Watch Me Fly. Echo reads minimum distance of goal from any subsequent goals or targets is applicable is 1K. That is on the pilot declared goal number 25. Certainly. The language for echo is this: minimum distance of goals from any subsequent goals or targets if applicable, and it's 1K. And we'll get that changed on Watch Me Fly. Any questions? We will continue to monitor the weather. We only have one station quite a ways from here that is reporting IFR conditions. Right now, the flight is a go, but if anything changes, we'll let you know. Have a good flight.
Oh, were there any questions? That was all.
Yeah.
Go get 'em.
And Young Guns and GTBR pilots, we will start your briefing in approximately 8 minutes.
So I called back in on the minute off. It's back to 190 again.
Ah,
I know.
okay. All right. Well, it still works. JC,
All right, thank you.
I'm gonna upload it and take it live again if we need to.
Who's number 17? 17?
Amanda Broadback, there's a white marker on your table, 17. Okay, if anybody knows how to reach Amanda, we have a marker here that was on the floor under the table.
She'll need to. Okay, let's go.
Guys, I'm gonna go ahead and kill this phone conversation. I don't think it's needed. Agreed?
Am I a Young Guns? No, Nationals.
Look at your rules.
Choose. Sunday version 2. Okay, flight,
Yeah, it's still there.
flights.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Flight
think
6 is still live. So, update is done. Watch me fly.
I pulled up something else.
Task data.
And the winds were like 220, 240, 260.
And the heart goes,
Look at
boom!
your winds. I actually heard him quit breathing. I said, look at your winds. So, hesitation, this is a Henry school. Do you know this 3601? That's the
190 at 3.
across from the Pizza Hut.
I'm late stop.
Yeah.
Not surprised.
And then close by the 70.
Okay.
And I've got the secondary school for that. That's 3602. That's just
I got 160 at 3.
Fine. Fine.
Well, it's a gift.
Yeah, it is. It's
Take your
awesome. It's great.
163.
I'll raise you 30 degrees.
It's trying.
Yeah.
almost football, right? That's the church. It's a church. It's just north of it. Is that the one? That's the one you used the other day. I don't think we use it. If you come from the football field, you take a lot of photos on the road. It's right now. Here's where we went.
Do you have any jokes you want to tell?
Oh, you know what would be
Any
appropriate
dad
today?
dad
A
jokes.
dad joke.
You could do that at the closing ceremony. You'd be like, in honor of Father's Day.
I pulled my joke out last night. Slim pickings.
They kind of set themselves up for that.
Yeah,
didn't
they
they?
did.
I felt bad. Like, what a bad way to.
So, before briefing this morning, in lieu of what today is, we thought we'd open up with a dad joke. You need that? I adopted a dog from a blacksmith. As soon as I brought him home, he made a bolt for the door.
Did you hear about the two rowboats that got into an argument? It was an ordeal. We can't do it. We can't do it. It's too bad.
Oh, we could be here all morning, but I think y'all would rather fly. Still have 2 minutes.
What did the beach say when the tide came in? Long time no see.
What did the beach say when the tide came in? Long time no see. Yeah, I know.
Measuring team is saying at 4199, I think it's a GTBR one,
It is.
that there's power lines and they think the coordinates are in the building. Whether or not that's true.
It's correct.
I don't know if I've ever been to a briefing where we told Jack dad jokes before.
Let me do you a screenshot.
want Zarek to do it?
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the final day of both the U.S. 2024 Hot Air Balloon Nationals and the Great Texas Balloon Race. It's been a great week for everything. I'm Dieter, and with me is Brad, the chief meteorologist. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, Dieter. How are you?
I'm great. So, what was the weather this morning?
So before we get to the weather, I have a dad joke for you for Father's Day.
Sure.
Okay, so why was the orchestra struck by lightning?
Why?
Because they had a conductor. Okay, so jumping back to the weather, it looks like another great day for flying across the area. We do have a little bit of a issue in the fact that there's not a ton of steerage for the pilots this morning. So the wind direction change as you increase in altitude is relatively small. So given that that's the case, it could be a little bit of a challenge for pilots to get to all the targets using the steering, just because there's not a lot to choose from out there. But we are starting to see a low-lying left or winds taking the balloons to the left in the near surface layer starting to develop. I think that will be pretty localized, but as long as it lasts, it will help pilots get into the tasks. But it looks like a pretty standard morning across Longview area. Generally winds out of the south with a south-southwest aloft. And then once you get above about 1,500 feet or so, it actually turns back to the left. So there's not a lot of purpose to go all the way up to 2,000 feet or even higher, unless they needed to make an additional correction, because that surface layer could be a little fickle and may or may not be there when the pilots need it. So, and they don't want to spend a lot of time going up to that altitude because there's not a lot of space between the targets anyway.
So I know that there is a saying in ballooning that the left will go away. Why does the left always go away?
So as the surface warms from the sun and everything like that, you start to warm the surface, and given that that's the case, it breaks down this inversion layer or a warm layer that forms just above the surface. It's about 500 feet. And so once that surface warms enough where that inversion is no longer effective, that's why you lose the low-lying left. It basically just mixes out, and it starts to draw down winds aloft, and so that layer becomes much more uniform with time.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
Thanks,
you for your
Dieter.
great work.
Yeah.
This whole week, it's been amazing weather, and
It's been a great week.
yeah, it's been a great week. We have 27 tasks so far, which has been amazing.
That's a fantastic nationals, and so anybody that's in the top can be very proud of what they've accomplished this week.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Dieter.